Ekiti State, a land of many beautiful hills, a land of lush green vegetation, a land known for its love of knowledge and academic excellence, a land of honor, a land that many describe as Nigeria's best kept secret. Ado-Ekiti is the state capital. In the last 3 years, this once sleepy town has turned into a world-class city.
The first thing that strikes you is the total change in ambience when you drive into Ado-Ekiti. If you drive in at night, it's even more striking because the street lights this city used to sleep at 7 p.m. This city is still on most days, midnight. It's improved the economy of the city.
Much of the credit for the rapid transformation of Ekiti State goes to Governor John Kayode Fayemi, a visionary leader who many here say has lived up to his campaign promises. 3 years ago, he said, "As I am ushered into the governor's office in Ado-Ekiti, make no mistake about it, I will ensure that you, the good people of Ekiti State, own this government."
That mission statement underscored the need for all of us, Ekiti people, to come together and move away from the path of disrepute that had accompanied governance in the previous years. It was the years of the locust.
In order to restore government credibility and reclaim public trust, Governor Fayemi's administration set out to make poverty history, to provide the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and increase the general well-being of the people of Ekiti State. This simply meant that fulfilling campaign promises would require transparency, accountability, prudence, creativity, visionary leadership, and a new way of governance different from what had characterized the administrations of previous professional politicians.
My campaign was about restoring the honor of Ekiti, restoring the integrity of the land, and the way to do it was not to put myself forward as having all the answers to the problems, but aggregating those answers and being the captain in a ship of very competent people all around the state. And that was the way we fought the struggle.
With the goal of reversing an almost decades-old trend of neglect and deterioration in key sectors, Governor Fayemi's 8-point agenda promised to democratize governance, modernize agriculture, improve infrastructure, promote qualitative education geared towards the development of human capital, provide free healthcare and social security to disadvantaged sectors of the state, ensure industrial development, develop tourism, and promote gender equality.
Clearly, governance has become more democratic, it has become more participatory, which was our objective, to ensure that the people are actually the architects of their own fortune. So no longer do we prepare budgets in this state without the input from the communities. Probably the only state where that happens. But we do not just stop at that. We also let the communities, through their own towns' unions, embark on self-help projects that are funded by government, but only by providing the money.
Transforming Ekiti State has not been without challenges. Governor Fayemi inherited severely deteriorated public infrastructure, a massive debt of 42 billion naira, and an ineffective revenue and tax generation system.
Before I became governor, the previous 7 years, we had 6 governors in 7 years. So that could give you the sense of instability that the state had experienced.
In short, transformation that would genuinely impact the people of Ekiti would require radical change across multiple sectors. To get a sense of what is going on infrastructure-wise in Ekiti State, there is no better spokesperson and champion than Governor John Kayode Fayemi, who many residents simply refer to as JKF.
We're no longer the Ekiti of old that wants to hide ourselves. Even in our excellence, we refuse to project ourselves. We refuse to sell ourselves to the world. For too long, we've hidden ourselves under the bushel. If you are in a valley, nobody sees you in the valley. If you're on the hill, everybody sees what you're doing. But with that comes a heavy dose of transparency. You can't go up on the hill without showing yourself up to the world. You must be ready to open yourself up for scrutiny.
Transformers to boost electric power supply have been installed in many communities. Some towns, such as Okeako, that have never had electricity are now connected to the national grid. For too long, Ekiti State was rarely ever mentioned in the league of highly developed Nigerian states.
If any good thing comes out of Ekiti, the shock that is often expressed is one that befuddles the mind, as though we are meant to be permanently in the dungeon as far as excellence is concerned.
Under Governor Fayemi, Ekiti State is focused on the present and also the future.
Advancement in education, in healthcare, in infrastructure, in ICT. This is the destination of choice in tourism. But you cannot have any of those things if the infrastructure is not in top shape. It's when you have the right infrastructure that you can demand of people that they invest in you.
In the capital city Ado Ekiti, everywhere you look, there is construction going on. If you've not been to Ado Ekiti in the last 3 years, you may just think you've arrived somewhere else. A 12,000-seater multi-purpose pavilion, a museum, a state-of-the-art convention center, and an ultra-modern cineplex are all under construction.
When we were running for office, the one point we made very clearly to our people was that another Ekiti, a better Ekiti, a modern Ekiti is possible, and we will witness it. Our idea is that we need a place where students, we have a lot of students in Ekiti, and they're always so idle because there's no recreational space. We have a stadium that has been there for as long as I can remember, for as long as I was in high school. It seats maximum 4,000 people. Our public events, parades, Children's Day rally, National Youth Service Corps orientation, everything gets done inside my school, my old school, tiny pitch. It's an embarrassment. We're 17 years old.
The multipurpose pavilion will be used for major public functions, parades, religious events, and music concerts.
It's 12,000-seater pavilion, and much more beautiful than Tafawa Balewa School. We are in the big league. We belong to the big league.
The Idoile Water Project, commissioned in 2012, is one of 5 mini water treatment plants that have been built in the last 3 years. It currently provides nearby residents with almost 2 million liters of clean drinking water each week, according to production manager Rotimi Bello.
If people are taking pure treated water, eventually their lifestyle will change, because healing, going to the hospital and all those things will be reduced if people are taking treated pure water.
Mr. Thomas Omoyadigbe has lived in Idoile for more than 70 years. He says prior to now, residents only had one other source of water.
Omi abẹ́ omi tó wà nínú igbó láti yá pọn mi. Kò sí omi tí ò dáa mọ́. A rí omi dáadáa mọ́. Ẹnu wa dùn.
Since 2011, more than 540 kilometers of roads have been constructed around the state. An additional 80 kilometers of roads have also been constructed in local governments under the 5-kilometer road per local government scheme.
We
We are situated on Atikonko Road. It used to be a single lane shanty town inhabited by the Hausa communities. But what we have done as at today, we have dualized the road. If you were here 3 years ago, you would be amazed. This used to be it used to be a red light district. You know, we had hemp smokers, we had prostitutes. We have tried to make it as clean and as urban as possible for the state.
Expanding and dualizing roads has not been without challenges.
There was resistance, and the inhabitants of the area, mostly the Hausa community in Ekiti state, in Ado Ekiti, Atikonko area actually, did not believe that the state government would compensate them. So what we did was we did not move them immediately. We made sure that their checks were given to them. We made sure that their relocation was ready and suitable. Then we moved in and bulldozed all the shanties around.
Chief Olusegun Famuagun, the Shashera of Ado Ekiti, is one of the community leaders and residents of the Atikonko area affected by the government's urban development plan.
But 4 years ago, when I was installed as the Shashera here, I had to write several letters to both the local government and the state government. The road was very narrow and so congested that you could spend maybe 2-3 hours trying to get by through this bypass to the post office and to the palace. They made promises and pledges, even during their campaign days, that they were going to reconstruct the roads. But I never knew it was going to be into this magnitude. For the good of the community, half of my palace was demolished. And it is acceptable by me because it is good, it is in the good interest of the community. Now we are better off. We have a smaller place, but we are now exposed to a cleaner environment, better road network.
We've made the capital city look very, very urban. Ado Ekiti used to be like a glorified village, but what we've done, we have dualized the entry points into the state capital, Ado, to make it more presentable to any would-be investor that would want to come and do business with the government.
A massive ongoing legacy construction project is the new governor's mansion, complete with a helipad that will replace the guest house Governor Fayemi currently resides in.
There are those who would argue, why is Governor Fayemi spending money on building a government house on the hill? When you are passionate about legacies, symbols are important. Symbols are as important as substance. If you know our culture very well, the first thing a Yoruba man would tell you is, Irinisi ni sonilojo. If you put us in the dungeon, we will be treated as dungeon people. If you put us on a pedestal, people will respect us for who we are. And we're pedestal people. We're intelligent people in Ekiti. Everybody acknowledges that. This is the fountain of knowledge. So why then do we hide ourselves? I'm a very private person, but about this, I'm very public. Because Ekiti has to be first among equals. We must project ourselves, but on the basis of tangible evidence of quality. That, for me, is what is important.
From pavilions to convention centers, malls and cineplexes, road networks and mini water plants, Ekiti State is forging ahead into the future at rapid speed.
We're fixing our gaze on the future. That's why we're doing stuff that might not even matter to the ordinary eye in Ekiti. Laying the fiber optic infrastructure, developing an economic knowledge zone, because for us, that's where we're heading. That's the mission for the future in our state.
For generations, the people of Ekiti State have had a passionate love for knowledge and education. While raw data may be difficult to come by, it is often said that there are more PhDs and professors per capita here in Ekiti State than anywhere else in Nigeria. In this southwestern part of Nigeria, knowledge is king. The development of human capital and the love of knowledge is passed on to children at a very young age. Secondary institutions such as Christ School and Mary Immaculate in Ado-Ekiti were once the gold standards of education in this beautiful, scenic part of Nigeria. These and other schools in Ekiti have produced many of Nigeria's best and brightest. But over the last 20 years, as in many other parts of Nigeria, the quality of education here has taken a nosedive. Failing grades have skyrocketed.
We've had one of our toughest challenges in education. Remember, this is the fountain of knowledge in Nigeria. One professor per household. That's the tradition that we came from. But I'm afraid to say, when I became governor here, we had lost that edge. Things had gone pear-shaped. We were ranking very, very low in public examination, particularly in secondary schools.
No longer could Ekiti State lay claim to being the fount of knowledge. No longer could its elite schools depend on a once glorious history.
My own school, one of the top schools in Nigeria, when I came into office, my school had 20% pass rate in WAEC examination. That was the first exam that was done when I became governor, 2011. In 2012, my school had 9% pass rate. 9 as in 9, before 10. 20% in 2011, my first year in office. 9% in 2012. And 2013, 100% in Christ School. Of course, when I became governor, that first year, we had to really go into a brainstorming session. Yes, we had our agenda. We were going to offer free education, compulsory qualitative education. We were going to focus on vocational and functional technical education. We were going to do something about the tertiary education sector to improve it. But in Ekiti, that's not such a big deal. I mean, we've been enjoying free education here since 1955, in the days of Obafemi Awolowo. So coming in as a governor and saying you're going to do free education, to my people, is really water off their back. They don't see what is extraordinary in that.
The first task of Governor Fayemi and his administration was to identify the systemic problems responsible for the state's educational decline.
Low teacher quality, lack of the necessary incentives, the learning environment was crappy. Whether you did well or not, you had automatic promotion. So we stopped that. We introduced a compulsory examination in SS2, a statewide compulsory examination. And if you fail the compulsory examination, you are not going to be presented for the main SSC examination. The first set that took that examination were the ones who took the WASC exams in 2013. And that's why statewide, we had a result of about 70%. And statewide, we had schools like Christ School, like Government College Aede, like Government College Emory, scoring 100%, meaning every single pupil presented for WASC in those schools made 5 credits plus English and mathematics.
The Subeb Model School in Ado-Ekiti has been rated one of the top elementary schools in the country. It is fast becoming a model for what is possible in other parts of Ekiti.
Teachers are well paid compared with other states, and the school too is good for any pupil because we undertake holistic education here. You get to the library now, you feel that it is a state library, not even for primary school level.
To Today, 48,000 laptops have been provided to every SS2 student in Ekiti State. Each computer is fully loaded with electronic curriculum for every subject.
In the global environment, competitiveness is going to be dependent on technology. So we entered into a partnership with Samsung Engineering, and we offered solar laptops to every secondary school child in senior secondary school, and extending it further to the junior secondary school.
The transformation of Ekiti State's educational system in just under 4 years is not limited to access to technology, e-based courses, enhanced teacher training, or improved staff welfare packages. For decades, many of the schools in Ekiti State had fallen into disrepair. Broken windows, collapsed ceilings, unpainted buildings, rot and decay. Today, almost 200 secondary schools and 100 primary schools have been refurbished in a serious attempt to create conducive learning environments for the younger generation.
When I was still in SS2, we had a building that is, if rain is falling, the ceiling will start dripping water. It was like hell. Immediately, students start shifting their chairs from the position of the dripping center to a particular, thereby causing problems to other students and distracting the teacher's attention in the class. That made it very miserable for us. But after the renovation of these classrooms, anytime we have rain falling, we don't even feel the discomfort there. We feel at home, going through our lessons, listening attentively. Even though the darkness, even if the weather change, we don't care because we are in a very comfortable place.
We have this building renovated by this government. The hall that has been abandoned for several years with mighty trees and snakes there. If you go and see the hall now, very beautiful. Then we have another building, a block of 4 classrooms that is being renovated too. In fact, it was completed last week. Very beautiful. The school has taken a new turn.
Today, there is an air of hope and optimism in the air. Ekiti State's education transformation is also not limited to elementary and secondary schools. The state's university system has also undergone massive changes.
We had 3 glorified secondary schools that were called universities. We've merged 3 universities into one, which has now become a model. It's been recommended to other states that instead of proliferating, why don't you focus on one and increase the level of support that you put in this one so that the products are really what they're sold. Not these days that you have graduates who cannot even write a page of intelligible English.
Professor Timothy Aino is the Vice Chancellor of Ekiti State University.
This university never had electricity for years before I came as Vice Chancellor. We are now connected. We now have water. The laboratories are being equipped. If you go around the campus today, we have 5 buildings being constructed. For the first time, we have the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences building, a very mighty building going on. We have the School of Postgraduate Studies building. We have the Entrepreneurial Studies building. We have what is regarded as the most modern College of Medicine Library building here in Eksu. This university is 31 years old now, and it has to transit to a world-class university. So this is my vision.
Ademola Adeleye is a Year 3 law student. He's excited about the positive changes taking place and the opportunities Ekiti State University provides.
Ekiti State University has witnessed tremendous changes in a lot of things. While I was doing my first degree here as a philosophy student, you see students sitting down in a class that there's no ventilation. You now see that some new buildings are coming up, and that is with the initiative of the Vice Chancellor and the state government of the day. We have new buildings. You have students now receiving lectures with projectors. If you we have e-libraries. So all these things aids learning, and we're very grateful.
Governor Fayemi is a passionate advocate of e-learning and a champion of a knowledge-based economy. What is all the more remarkable about Ekiti State's educational transformation under Governor Fayemi is that so much has been accomplished with yet so little, in comparison to other states who receive a much more generous budgetary allocation from the federal government. Many here believe that if the changes of the last 3 years are sustained, Ekiti State's once preeminent position as Nigeria's fount of knowledge will easily be regained.
The sound clap. 2 claps.
It's a song that's familiar to millions of Nigerian children. The adage, knowledge and education without the implements of farming counts for nothing, is ingrained in the minds of children at home and in school. However, in recent decades, it's a wise saying that has been pretty much ignored. Today, many international experts are predicting that food will become more viable than oil in the decades to come. Blessed with vast tracts of unexploited arable land and abundant water resources, Ekiti State is poised to become a major producer of food in Nigeria. After decades of neglect, there is little doubt that agriculture and agribusiness are now major sources of economic growth in Ekiti State.
There is an influx of commercial agriculture entrepreneurs in the state, which was not the case before now. We used to run a pretty sleepy subsistence farming. We weren't even into agriculture, if you take agriculture as business.
Already, the government is strategically and creatively fixing a list of perennial problems that will untap the state's huge agricultural potential. These include insufficient access to land, poor provision of basic inputs, high post-harvest losses, insufficient water supplies, and a lack of private sector investment. Ekiti State's approach to agriculture and sustainable development is designed to support and make smallholder and large-scale farming operations more productive and effective. While most farming in Nigeria is still at a subsistence level, Governor Fayemi's administration is opening up tens of thousands of hectares of fertile farmland.
Basically, when this administration came on board, there was a decision that we took that we're not going to do agriculture by talking and cutting tapes. What we wanted to do basically was to open up land, make the land tractorable, then now buy tractors that can work effectively on those lands, where we can now bring in youths, where we can bring in existing farmers, where we can increase their acreage of cultivation, where serious production can go on, where serious marketers can come and offtake whatever they produce within those hubs.
On the continent, only 7% of African farmers benefit from irrigation, compared to 40% for farmers in Asia. Under the leadership of Governor Fayemi, Ekiti State could very well exceed the national average. In partnership with development institutions such as UNDP and FAO, 3 senators representing Ekiti State, Olubunmi Adetunbi, Anthony Adeni, and Babafemi Ojudu, have selflessly made the 600 million naira Itakpaji and Ero irrigation schemes their joint constituency project. The Itakpaji and Ero dams will meet the irrigation needs of thousands of farmers by providing sufficient enough water for 1,700 hectares of irrigated land in Iyemero, Gede, Ikosun, Igogo, and Ewu farm settlements. Another strategic initiative is the Agricultural Development Program. Currently, 117,000 farmers are registered with ADP. The Odooro Upland Rice Farm is a model for what is happening in other parts of the state. Working closely with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Ekiti State provides farmers with land clearing equipment, 3 bags of NPK, and 1 bag of urea per hectare. In 2012, farmers received a 50% subsidy on seeds. In 2013, seeds were provided to farmers free of charge. Sunday Osanyi Lucy is an ADP beneficiary.
Ọdún kẹta mo ṣe 2 hectares, 5 hectares. Nígbà tí ìjọba assist wa ta rí improvement kò ní mí lára, kò sí pé mo ṣe tún lọ yáwó cooperative kí tó di pé mo ṣoko. So mo increase it to 5. This year mo increase it to 20. So mo wá gbà pé by the grace of God tí program mi kó máa lọ bẹ́lẹ̀ kọ́ lọ kó máa assist àwọn ìjọba. Tó bá tún lè continue with this assistance by next year lágbára lórí mo mọ̀ pé 50 above ni mo máa ṣe lágbára náà. Ọmọ mẹ́ta ni mo ní sí university. Pẹ̀lú oore ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú assistance kata rí bí tí mo dẹ̀ sanwó mo lẹ́ni tó wà ní health tech gan tó yẹ pé huge amount of money ni.
ADP participants are not limited to men alone. Gender empowerment is a key part of Governor Fayemi's 8-point agenda.
Inú ìgbà tí wọ́n ràn mí lọ́wọ́, ìgbé ayé rere ni mò ń gbé. Mò ń rówó tí mo fi ń ṣe nǹkan tó wù mí. Wọ́n ràn wá lọ́wọ́ dáadáa torí gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń lò lóko àwọn ló ń provide ẹ̀ fún wa.
Another strategic agricultural initiative in Ekiti State is the ADP seed processing plant in Ekiti. It's a key part of ensuring that farmers receive quality input and higher yields.
We established this processing plant in the year 1985. It worked for a period of 15 years and it broke down. For the past 6 years, it had never worked. And this year, through the intervention of the ministry, we were able to put it back into shape.
Already, peasant farmers in 177 wards in Ekiti State have benefited from a microfinance credit scheme worth 35 million naira. It has provided each farmer with 150,000 naira at 0% interest. Ekiti State was once a powerhouse in cocoa production. Today, more than 60,000 hectares of cocoa farms are moribund. It's a situation the state government is determined to reverse. His Royal Majesty Oba Philip Eniayewu Oyediran, the Olosin of Osin Ekiti in Oye local government, is a traditional ruler who believes his place is both in the palace and on the farm. Shortly after coming to the throne, Oba Oyediran says he prayed a simple prayer.
I asked God, I said, God, you know I'm a tailor. What do you need to offer me there? God told me, he said, why not take farming? This place is a thick forest. It has been abandoned for more than 30 years. They cleared this place for 4 months before we can finish it. 4 good months. Then we clear it again. The 3rd time, then we begin planting.
With help and input from the Ekiti State Administration and the federal government's GES scheme, Oba Oyediran has successfully planted more than 10,000 cocoa seedlings to replace many of the old and unproductive trees on his plantation. He is just one of many farmers who have already received 350,000 cocoa seedlings at highly subsidized prices.
What we are seeing now, we have never seen it before. The government is trying. It's doing well.
The Youth in Commercial Agricultural Development Scheme, otherwise known as YCAD, is one of Ekiti State's most effective agricultural strategies. Hundreds of youth and university graduates have enrolled in the YCAD program. With close to 2,000 hectares of farmland under cultivation, They're already making a very significant difference. Temitope Aroge is one of hundreds of YCAD participants. A medical doctor by training, he's now a full-time cassava farmer and processor.
2013 to 2014, a minimum of 1,000 hectares of cassava was planted in this through this program, and is an unprecedented success. And I'm not joking about it. No state government, they can say yes, they are planning to do it, but ask them a year after if they have been able to do it.
Recently, his company acquired a $3 million loan facility to expand his cassava processing plant.
We have retired people that we buy cassava from, and we encourage them to tell, look, in 2014, we are coming in big and we want you to continue to plant. So we want a situation whereby we are actually encouraging people in farming. If the agricultural sector is being modernized, then we encourage as well by also going into high value processing of this agricultural product, such that people will see continuity, they will see strategy, and they will see a kind of pathway that is leading to a robust wealth creation system for our society.
Helen Oni and Peter Amoni are also YCAD participants. Their passion and love for agriculture is contagious. Not content to be single crop farmers, their agricultural activities include cassava and oil palm, among other crops.
There was a time that I asked one of my colleagues, why can't you take a job in agriculture? He said, that is what my father is doing, and even up till now, he has not been making it. And I answered him in Yoruba, the guy was very annoyed, and even until when we graduated, the guy didn't greet me because he was annoyed, and the guy is even from Ekiti here. But I had passion for agriculture. I believe in putting food on people's table.
Financially, at least if you have 10 hectares of cassava, at least averagely you make nothing less than ₦1 million from that. And having 20 hectares in a year.
YCAD participants such as Helen and Peter are helping develop massive cassava plantations in Ekiti State to meet the needs of uptakers such as Thai farms, flour mills, and Nigeria starch mills. This truck is being loaded with cassava tubers that have been purchased by a mill in Anambra State.
The idea behind YCAD was to give our young people a renewed sense of purpose. What we basically did was to select them through a competitive process to determine the level of seriousness and then empower them. We also provided them with training opportunities. We have a farm manager who is exclusively devoted to YCAD.
What I'm trying to do is to get the YCAD participants here to be independent of government with their own mechanical equipment and tractors. Being here, it's fantastic because it is very agriculturally rich. I'm surprised that it hasn't been tapped commercially before.
I'm glad also that even the federal government is beginning to look in the direction of youth in commercial agriculture. And this, from what I understand from the minister, is going to be one of their test runs for it.
Another successful YCAD participant is Olufemi Fabi. He is the CEO and business manager of Ekiti Empire Feed Mill. Once a state-run venture, his mill is now a private, public sector partnership that is doing brisk business.
This has been a program that is very laudable, has brought a lot of youth that would have been looking for white-collar jobs out. And actually, people are tending towards self-employment. People are tending towards entrepreneurship. Somebody like me, I actually provide job and I've been able to contribute to the economy of the state by reducing unemployment.
Ademola Olowodu is an enthusiastic young YCAD farmer whose passion is poultry.
I'm one of the youngest farmers in the state who really believe in doing farming as a business. We are one of those very few youths that really take it as a business, and we are proud doing it. I can proudly say that we are working towards a very big and magnificent processing plant so that we also can invite the markets, let them come over here instead of selling live to Ibadan, to Lagos, and they will still bring it back to us here to eat. And we have the infrastructures on ground, courtesy of the state government.
Ekiti State's goal is to have 20,000 youth trained, employed, and actively engaged in mechanized farming and the whole agricultural value chain by 2014.
Whatever we have comparative advantage in, we are bringing it to the fore. The government has actually created a platform for you to operate and make your millions within the space of agriculture.
Possibility Governor Fayemi tí ò touch ní gbogbo àwọn ìjọba tó ń ṣe mostly lélẹ̀ tó kàn wá jù lọ́rùn agriculture ó ṣe nǹkan tó ń yà lẹ́nu because ìgbà tá a sọ pé ajílẹ̀ 5,500 ní báàgì ajílẹ̀ kan kò sí farmer tó lè endure kó wá lọ at least mo ti lo almost 60 bags síbi bó ni mo ti fẹ́ rówó ra tìjọba dẹ̀ sọ pé kẹ́ wá sign lásán ẹ̀ wá kó tẹ́ bá produce sàn kẹ́ wá sanwó ẹ̀.
If current agricultural transformation plans go according to schedule, Ekiti State is well on its way to meeting its own food needs and becoming a major player in Nigeria's food supply chain. As the saying goes, health is wealth. It's a mantra the Ekiti State government believes in and has made a cornerstone of its transformation plan. Professor Olushola Fashiba doubles as a practicing surgeon at the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital and as the state's Commissioner of Health. His mandate is simple: turn around the state's secondary health system.
In 2012, when I joined the government, part of our medical system had collapsed. There are a lot of infrastructural decay. If you get to many of our hospitals at that time, many of them have leaking roofs, the floors are very bad, and the fact that many of the equipments were bought over 40 years ago.
Today, 18 general hospitals in the state are undergoing massive renovation and restoration. 3 mother and child hospitals are also under construction. According to Governor Kayode Fayemi, health is
the 5th component of our 8-point agenda.
At the close of 2013, more than 400,000 patients, men, women and children, have been treated under Ekiti State's free health mission.
We also have another intervention for people that are not covered by the free health. Like people, the whole people that are sick, the women that are sick who have one problem or the other. We give them monetary stipends based on what problems they have. Like if they are referred to a teaching hospital like this and their surgery is going to cost about $500,000 or $1 million, the government provides this amount.
In addition, 48% of the population, including children, pregnant women, the elderly and the physically challenged, had also received free healthcare. Mrs. Kende Oluwafisaya received 125,000 naira to cover medical expenses during her pregnancy.
Wọ́n admit me sí teaching hospital nígbà yẹn ní around March. So wọ́n wá ní mo need bed rest títí máa fi bímọ. So ìgbà tó di May tán máa discharge mi, ìjọba ló san owó hospital bill, gbogbo hospital bill wa worth of 125,000. Torí since tí mo ti wà l'Ekiti láti 2004. Mi ti rí orí assistance tí ìjọba ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ lé rí, so ìjọba Fáyẹmí má ní gbàgbé nínú ayé mi torí pé wọ́n assist mi gan gidi.
At the Ado-Ekiti General Hospital, Mrs. Taiwo Adeosun has just given birth to twins. She says the state government covered 100% of cesarean surgery costs and hospital expenses.
The free health have really helped me. Now I'm not going to pay money for hospital bill. I won't pay money for. I don't pay money for drugs. Everything I'm given is free.
Governor Fayemi says his government is committed to
improving the health indices of women and children through affordable and accessible healthcare services in Ekiti State.
Ekiti State has also spent almost 150 million naira on the healthcare needs of indigent patients. Olugbenga Jayola was shot in the legs at point-blank range by a political thug during an election campaign. Shortly after, his leg had to be amputated. He is just one of many indigent patients whose bills for surgical operations and the provision of artificial limbs have been paid for by the state.
What I see so far about the government is ready to help, and they have been doing that. In fact, he paid for my prosthesis twice, amounted to 1.5 million naira. So, and I'm happy about it.
Ekiti State is one of the first, if not the first state in Nigeria to operate a unified drug revolving fund system that has helped boost healthcare delivery in the state. Peter Olajiga is a pharmacist and the general manager of Ekiti State's Central Medical Store.
Before I assumed responsibility here, the mega depot was not structured in this form. That time we were making drug movement from the mega depot to other sections in the month may not be up to 400,000. But here, even the first month that we started, the drug movement out of this place was 7.2 million. The second month, it was 7.4. But the third month, it went to 16 point something. And at that time, we have been clocking between 16 and 18 till today. Now, it is this government that has allowed us to do that. Because now, we are sure that about 70%, if not 100%, up to 70% of drug circulation in the state is wholesome.
While much is being done, the Ekiti State government is all too aware that there is still much more to do.
We note that our health indices, even though seem to be one of the best in the country, but it has not reached the benchmark that is stipulated by the WHO. These are where we are working on.
Governor Fayemi's administration says it is committed to a holistic approach to healthcare.
I hereby declare this building and the Cancer Diagnostic and Wellness Center named in memory of the late Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, Her Excellency Mrs. Fumilayo Aduni Olayinka, to the glory of God and the benefit of Ekiti people.
The recently commissioned Fumi Aduni Olayinka Diagnostic and Wellness Center in Ado-Ekiti is named in honor of the state's late Deputy Governor. The Diagnostic Center will provide health screenings for women and men.
The center will afford the people of Ekiti the opportunity of enjoying first-class health care and screening services.
Owo Fayemi is how senior citizens refer to Ekiti State's Senior Citizen Package. The social support financial supplement provides citizens over the age of 65 with a monthly stipend of 5,000 naira.
Agbawi number 1 ko seun lo go Olodumare ye oku ko ojiji wo wulo fún mi mo me jẹun lásìkò keme ba jí lọ́jọ́ mo bá ti gbà ni tó mo te bá gbà lọ́jọ́ mo bá ti gbà ma kọ́kọ́ jí ma lọ sọ́jà ma rí jíjẹ sule.
Many residents here recognize that in just 3 short years, major transformations have taken place in Ekiti State's healthcare sector. From hospital renovations, new emergency wards, modern surgical theaters and equipment, state-of-the-art drug supply stores, mother and child support, indigent patient care, to extensive free health missions, Ekiti State has developed a healthcare model that is designed to improve the overall health needs of its citizens and serve as a template for other states in Nigeria. Tucked away in the rustically beautiful city of Ikogosi, Ekiti, is one of Nigeria's best-kept tourist secrets, the Ikogosi Warm Springs. Either way, it's roughly a 5-hour drive from the commercial hub of Lagos or the administrative capital of Abuja.
We have conference facilities that we believe are world-class.
But Ikogosi has not always been this majestically beautiful. Once an enchanting tourist destination, this natural gem had become a ruin and a dump. Mansions looked like bombed-out ruins. Weeds had overtaken chalets that once housed a who's who list in Nigeria. Vegetation had sprouted inside of once elegant rooms. Chalets lay in ruins. Ceilings had caved in. Bathrooms were covered in fungus. And power generators had long given up the ghost. In short, the desolation was complete.
Indeed, in the last 10 years, there'd been no visitor here. It's been a comfortable residence for all manner of reptiles in that period.
In 2011, shortly after taking over office, Governor Fayemi set a goal of restoring, transforming, and making Ekiti and the Ikogosi Warm Springs attractive destinations. Many here say he has lived up to his word.
When I became governor, I felt one thing I must do as a way of making Ekiti a destination of choice for visitors to Ekiti was to restore Ikogosi, not just to its pristine natural state, but also to give it an ambience that people who are interested in rural resorts would like to visit.
Taking the proverbial bull by the horns, Governor Fayemi and his administration have dramatically transformed Ikogosi Warm Springs. The response of first-time guests from across the country, and even the nation's capital, typically tends to be the same.
They've come away literally blown away. That how could you hide this here and we don't even know about it in Abuja? It's an extraordinary force of nature.
We are walking down the way. Yes.
For residents, Ikogosi is a special place. For tourists, it's a breathtaking experience.
This place really, it feels very natural and warm. The site is beautiful. It's just it. I actually never knew that such place existed in Ekiti.
Adetunji Adekweju is a human capital development consultant who brings conference participants to Ikogosi.
If there are some other adjectives beyond peaceful, warm, serene, enticing, and marvelous, I think I want to use those to describe Ikogosi. It's just a natural resort.
We want to get the resort back to shape. The idea is to allow professional facility managers to come and manage it, and then part of their own work would be to market it.
The changes are noticeable long before you enter the resort.
Just talking about some of
I took a golf cart ride with Governor Fayemi around the resort for a first-hand look at some of the major transformations that have taken place here within 3 short years.
I used to come around there and I promised the people of Ikogosi.
Guests will immediately notice the resort's beautiful landscaping, nicely paved roads, teakwood walkways, and friendly tourist guides who come complete with their own golf carts. Today, Ikogosi sports a brand new look, including a 1,000-seater amphitheater for conference participants, meetings, music concerts, theater productions, and movies. Where chalets once stood in ruins, new structures now stand. Ikogosi has received a 360-degree facelift. Chalets come in different sizes to fit a variety of needs and wallet sizes. There is something for every family's budget. Walkways from the chalets run through the resort's scenic and picturesque settings all the way to the warm springs. There's a new swimming pool at the Warm Springs, as well as relaxation huts for guests and families. In the last 24 months, more than 200,000 tourists have visited Ekiti from all across Nigeria and other parts of the world.
I've never seen a spring, I've never seen waterfall before, so it's kind of my first time of seeing that. So I'm so happy that I came here. I don't know how to express my feeling, but it's so natural. It's like a place you can come and think very well. It's beautiful.
Guests include families, conference attendees, corporate retreat participants, and individuals who simply want to experience something new and spectacular.
I was in Ekiti some probably 10 years ago, and out of curiosity, I just said on our way to another location, precisely Olumiri Waterfalls, which is in Osun State, I said, let me even have a look at what Ekiti looks like now. I think about March this year, I just took a gamble and I came around only to discover that this place has changed tremendously.
I would love to come back with my friends, family, and anyone close to me, because telling them this story is going to sound like a fairy tale, trust me. So I would love them to experience what I experienced.
Governor Fayemi's overall goal is to make tourism a catalyst for economic growth, an engine of environmental transformation, an instrument for integrating host communities, and a tool for developing the state's hospitality industry. If leadership is about